10 years of love, sacrifices, and dreams shattered in an instant. When Emeka betrayed Blessing for a flashy new life, he never imagined she'd turn the tables on him, exposing his darkest secrets and leaving him on the brink of ruin. They met on campus, young, bright-eyed, and full of dreams. Blessing was 21, a final-year student of banking and finance, raised in a modest but disciplined home. Emeka was a year older, handsome, confident, and broke. But when Emeka spoke of his dreams, he sounded like a king in exile. Blessing fell for him hard, not because of what he had, but because of what he believed he could become. While her mates dated bankers and business owners, she chose the dreamer with no mattress, no job, and no plan, only big talk and borrowed shirts. After NYSC reality hit, Emeka was still broke, and Blessing, with her bank job, slowly became his provider. What started as "let me help you this one time" became monthly allowances, transport fares, rent payments, and eventually full financial support. For 10 whole years, Blessing paid his rent when his parents couldn't. She bought clothes for him when he had job interviews. She loaned him money she never got back. And when Emeka's younger sister needed emergency surgery after a car crash, it was Blessing who dropped the point for million without blinking. One year Emeka was wrongfully arrested in a deal gone wrong. It was Blessing who ran around to secure a lawyer, bailed him from prison, and even paid off some of the people who falsely accused him. When everyone left him, friends, even extended family, it was Blessing who stood by him. She became his helper, his shield, and his second mother, all because she believed in the love they had. She believed that one day all her sacrifices would be worth it. By the time she turned 30, the pressure became unbearable. Her mother would cry on the phone, "Are you sure this boy wants to marry you at all? All your mates have children." Her friends laughed behind her back. 10 years for what? A man that hasn't even paid bride price? Even Emeka's own family began to question him. His father once told him, "This girl is a blessing. If you leave her, you'll regret it." But each time Blessing brought up marriage, Emeka would say, "Just give me time. I can't enter marriage broke. I want to do things right. Let me stand first." She waited and waited, and then she did something she never imagined she'd do. In a final act of faith, Blessing liquidated part of her savings, money meant for her house project, and gave it to him. 30 million to start a car dealership and logistics business. She told herself, "When the business grows, he'll finally marry me. We'll build a future together." With that money, Emeka opened 2 branches in Abuja and started posting flashy cars on Instagram. Deals were rolling in. He was now rubbing shoulders with celebrities, politicians, and influencers. But something else was changing too. He stopped returning her calls. He stopped visiting. He stopped saying "I love you." He started drifting. Blessing suspected something, but her heart kept defending him. Until one Sunday evening, she saw it. A video posted online. Emeka at a party with another woman, kissing her, introducing her to friends as his queen. The woman was a dour and events planner from Lekki, light-skinned, glamorous, the kind of girl who never looked at men like Emeka before his money came. Blessing froze. For 10 minutes, she couldn't breathe. This was the man she had waited 10 years for. The man she bailed from prison, fed, dressed, fought for. How? He was publicly flaunting another woman. When his mother found out, she stormed his office. "What is wrong with you? That girl gave you everything. She even paid for your sister's surgery. Is this how you repay her?" His father refused to speak to him for weeks. His cousins were ashamed. Even his employees gossiped behind his back. But Emeka didn't care. The money, the attention, the new girl. It had gotten to his head. He told Blessing over the phone, "I never forced you to do anything. Stop acting like I owe you marriage." Those words shattered her soul. She collapsed on the floor. Her sister rushed her to the hospital. High blood pressure. Emotional shock. Even from the hospital bed, she still whispered, "God, why?" Blessing stayed in the hospital for 6 days. The doctors said her blood pressure shot so high, she could have had a stroke, but her silence was louder than any scream. She just laid there numb, eyes blank, staring at the ceiling, whispering Emeka's name with tears streaming silently. Her younger sister, Pioma, sat by her bedside every day. Pioma was fiery, stubborn, and loyal. She had always disliked Emeka. "This man is draining you," she would say, but Blessing never listened. Now Pioma watched her big sister waste away from heartbreak. On the 7th day, Blessing stood up. No drama, no announcement. She walked to the mirror, looked at her reflection, her pale skin, her thinning cheeks, her tired eyes, and whispered, "I'm done." She left the hospital the next day, but she wasn't going home. She was going somewhere that would change everything. 3 weeks later, Emeka began to notice strange things. First, his account was frozen, his main business account, the one Blessing had helped him open. Then his delivery vans were impounded. His clients began pulling out. The rent for both branches expired, and the landlord refused to renew. He thought it was spiritual attack. He even called a prophet, but it wasn't. You see, Emeka didn't know that when Blessing gave him that 30 million, she didn't give it blindly. She used her corporate skills. She opened the company in her name, registered every asset under her BVN, took silent equity, got witnesses, backed it with a lawyer, ex-lecturer who owed her a favor. So technically, Emeka owned nothing. She didn't take it back out of spite. She took it back out of self-respect. By the time he realized, the company he bragged about online no longer belonged to him. 3 months after she left the hospital, Blessing paid a surprise visit to Emeka's office. He was seated on a bench outside, sweaty, confused, talking to a security man who was now in charge of his own gate. He looked up and saw her. Blessing was glowing. She looked stronger, healthier, even more beautiful. She walked up to him slowly, not with revenge, but with grace. "Don't worry, I didn't come to fight," she said. She handed him an envelope. Inside, a check for $3 million. He was confused. "That's the profit from your work," she said calmly. "You worked hard, even though you betrayed me. This is your cut." He tried to speak, but no words came. Before he could process anything, her Uber pulled up. She turned, looked at him once more, and left. That was the last time he saw her until the scandal. Adara, the light-skinned girlfriend he left Blessing for, was no longer the princess. Rumors began to swirl that she was pregnant, but not for Emeka. It was for her gym trainer. He didn't believe it until he caught them at a hotel in Warimpa. Her baby bump already showing. She didn't beg. She didn't cry. She just said, "You're broke now. What do you expect?" He tried to fight the trainer, got beaten like a thief. When he returned to his flat, he discovered his TV was gone. So was his fridge, his wristwatches, even his laptop, all gone. His friends stopped picking up his calls. His own sister avoided him. His world was closing in. But the final blow was yet to come. One evening, he received a letter sealed, neat, bearing a family crest. It was from Blessing's lawyer. A petition had been filed. Apparently, some of the money Blessing gave him wasn't hers alone. It was a joint investment with two foreign partners in the UK, and Emeka had unknowingly signed over accountability for parts of it. He was now being investigated for breach of contract, misappropriation, and fraud. If convicted, he could face up to 10 years in prison. He broke down on the spot, literally screamed on the floor, peeled his shirt, cried like a baby. But the worst part, Blessing didn't file the case. Her investors did, and she couldn't even stop them. While Emeka wrestled the legal heat, Blessing was in London. She had just secured a $200,000 real estate deal. Her story had gone viral. The woman who gave everything and took it all back. She was invited to speak on BBC Africa. In her words, "I don't hate him. I only hate what I let myself become for him. But I forgive him, not for his peace but for mine." The audience clapped. She smiled, but deep inside, she knew the wound was still healing. One day at a time, back in Nigeria, Emeka was on the run. His passport was flagged. The police were looking for him. And then, he vanished. For 2 months, no one knew where he was. Until a voice note surfaced online. A desperate man, crying, talking about ending it all. Apologizing to Blessing. Regretting everything to be continued.